voice is nearly
Great to
gone
stay
now.
up
Oh,
late.
that's not good.
Oh,
Darling, you've been so busy this week, Richard.
I've been talking a lot. Yeah, busy week. Interviewed the lovely David Furnish talking about their virtual, him and Sir Elton, their virtual Oscars show.
Oh,
which
wow.
was obviously on the night of the Oscars.
Mm.
So that's sort of like a fundraiser that would replace their normal showbiz bash out in LA on Oscar night for the Elton John AIDS Foundation. So that was a lovely chat. So yeah, been a busy week. It's been a busy week.
It has. It really has.
And
So does that mean you're back in the studio then, Richard?
You were
yes,
yesterday.
I was in the studio all week,
Yes.
which was great. So it was great to get
Good.
out.
So you're back to normal. Well,
Sort
as
of.
normal as one can be.
As normal as one can be.
Whenever have any of
morning?
us been normal? Come on, let's be honest.
Well,
Let's start there.
And what is normal?
Well,
Exactly.
do you know, Dee, it's a very, very good point.
especially not Richard Arnold, anyway.
I was speaking to a friend of mine in the week, and she said, "What's it going to be like when we finally all get
Yeah.
Yeah.
behave, you know, won't know how to behave."
No, know how to do anything.
Exactly.
I think there might be a baby boom when we get out of lockdown somehow.
Oh, are you talking about us?
Well, we are baby boomers, aren't we?
Babes.
Yeah.
I know, like
Anyway.
Babe the pig. I know I'm getting fatter and fatter.
No, you're not, Dee.
Don't
You
be
look
ridiculous.
beautiful. Beautiful.
I love. Oh, thanks, darling. So are you, darling. So are you.
All the work. What are we talking about today, girls?
Ah,
Yes, come on, girls.
Well, Sherry was talking about it last week, actually. She just mentioned it, and I thought it was so interesting about the things that you regret the most, the things that you wished you'd done differently. And I thought that was quite an interesting subject, don't you?
Yeah. And also good things that you don't regret, things that you think were a good decision, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting one. One thing I absolutely don't regret at all, apart from the fact I wish I'd done it sooner, and I know we've talked about it before on the show, is getting a dog. I totally underestimated what that bond is like and how wonderful Michael Emmy has been for, broadly speaking, mental health.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just, those cockapoo kisses.
Oh, I know.
I don't want to put it off there Saturday brunch, but I don't know. It's that sort of affection, and obviously it's a bond that's
oh.
potentially during lockdown as well. So I absolutely hands on heart. That is my best decision ever. And
Did you read, Richard? Did you hear? I read a story that they're not going to make any more cockapoos.
How? How could they?
Really?
Because there's no cocks and no poos, and they're not going to double them up because they say it's. I forget what they said, but they said that it's another one they're going to make, but no more cockapoos. So
No
you've
more.
probably got the last cockapoo.
oh, that is heartbreaking because they're such a great breed.
Stop.
I know.
Such a great breed, and they're hugely popular. In terms of, I tell you what, as we get older, it's funny, isn't it? I think we get more courage because, hindsight is a wonderful thing, as they say, isn't it? I regret sometimes not walking through doors that opened to me that I didn't realize would only be open for a short time. And because I had the courage to walk through them. I don't regret giving up my law degree, believe it or not.
Wow.
I wouldn't be talking to you, lovely birds.
Yeah.
So I
Might
did
be.
In court.
And I tell you, we would have met obviously, but you'd be on the stand.
Yeah, we'd be in prison, or something. Yeah.
I'd rather be under a bar than at one. And on that note, when you think about regrets, there's one thing over the last sort of 10 months or so, whilst, as I say, we birds have had our wings clipped, I don't regret a single bit of extra legroom I probably couldn't afford but paid for at the time on a holiday, on a plane. Don't regret a single martini I've ever drunk. Don't regret a single bit of excess, to be quite honest.
I'm so glad you said that. I think that's brilliant.
The only thing I regret is never knowing my own worth and value. I always waited for other people to validate me. And I learnt early on I can let that go and know I am enough. I don't have to be best, be first, be chosen. I'm just enough. And I think that I wish I told that to my young self, because I always thought I had to be better and I was never good enough. But I, like you, darling, I've never regretted a Bailey's ever.
No.
No.
Or
if
chocolate.
I could talk to my younger self, I would say never ever sell a property and hang on to everything that you've got. So by selling my properties and trying to always upgrade and then splitting up with my husband, I ended up going like that. And I think if I didn't need to sell. So I would always give advice. And that's my big bugbear with myself. Why did I sell? I didn't need to. I didn't have a mortgage on my first property when I sold it. I didn't need to do that. I could have kept it and got another property without a mortgage. So why I did it, because I thought it was a love thing, I ended up going into a joint property with my husband, whereas in fact I didn't need to do that. I didn't need to put my flat in there. I could have kept it. So that's what I keep saying, always hang on to property. I think that's my big regret.
Yeah, I've got a regret and also something that I don't regret, and it's the same thing actually. And it was when I left drama school, and when you leave drama school, you sort of go for loads of auditions and you don't get them, and if you come out thinking you're going to get everything and then you get nothing. I was like completely bereft, thinking I'll never make any money and do anything. So I applied for another job, which was as an air hostess with British Airways. And it was a bit like having loads of auditions, because I had to go for loads of interviews, and eventually it was whittled down, and I was offered this job as a trolley dolly, as they call them now. And on the same day, I was offered my first theatre job. And guess which one I chose, guys? And it was like the theatre job. So which was the best and the worst decision I've ever made.
Fantastic.
So Dee, did you never get your wings then? You didn't get to do the whole chicken or beef thing?
Never did it. Never got my wings.
Oh no.
But
it was so funny you should say that, Dee, because I've always thought I would love to do that job. And we, back in the days of GMTV, we flew a load of winners away to this spa in Germany, and I was the talent on board, if you like. Obviously, no one else would agree to do it. And I went on this spa. It was a brilliant trip, and I got to do the whole sort of, obviously with someone observing me and making sure everything was fine. But I got to do that, little jacket, and all that caper, and I just loved going up and down the aisles. I just loved all of that.
Oh yeah.
This would be a calling for me. This would be a calling for me. I think
too.
I would do it.
Yes. Maybe we could
so
still do
funny,
it, all of
Richard.
us.
If anyone was ever nervous, if they did, they do these things to help people who are nervous of flying. They do these courses. You should be the person that you make everybody laugh, and that would be the whole point. Get rid of their fear.
I don't think I could be trusted. Like if it was on a long haul flight and people were asleep,
You'd be drunk.
I might have a little bit of a tipple, and I'd end up waking someone up and going,
Yeah,
great.
Yeah. You'd be pissed.
Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep.
Kerry, what about you, darling? What are your regrets, if any?
Well, two regrets really. One, when I did Big Brother, because I had to sleep next to Snoop Dogg, and I snore, but he's like a rhinoceros. I mean, it was the most incredible noise I have ever heard in my life. But I got paid handsomely, so I should shut up about it. And secondly, I wish somebody had told me that you should never shave your pubic hair, because it causes a rash. And I never understood that until I did it. And I thought, you shouldn't have done that, Sherry. And you should actually do whatever else. So they're two quite big regrets, really.
Anything to add to that, Richard?
Well, it's hard to shoehorn yourself into a sentence that involves snooping, Snoop Dogg, or rather snoring, Snoop Dogg,
Nobody do that.
a lady garden. So all I can say is, Sherry, loose women must really miss you, because we get to talk about all the sort of stuff that we never get to talk about on Good Morning Britain. Further.
You see, their loss is our gain.
Yeah,
That is why Sherry is here. But I know that you have a similar thing about me about property as well, Sherry, about letting it go, which is quite a mistake.
I know, but you know what? I've learned now to throw things and go, you know what? I don't care anymore. That happened. It's now. And we've had this year, and and you just go, come on, open everything up. Let's get back so we can go and have a drink with Richard Arnold and see him fall off a chair pissed. That's all I want.
See him under the bar, not on top of the bar. Like
Yeah,
a
under the
puppy.
bar.
Oh dear, the tolerance for alcohol seems to be quite strong in my family. So I haven't. Oh no, it was okay. I'll leave you with this. So this is a noshery that we go to quite a lot in North London when it was open, and I've been there with Harriet, and I've seen her there on more than one occasion with other men. I thought I was the only man in it. I know, shocking. Anyway, I was out with a producer friend of mine, and I took him for lunch, and he was there with his partner. And it was really raining outside, and they have one of those revolving doors. And we'd had a few cocktails, you know, it was a wonderfully noosh bit of afternoon delight. Anyway, they're about half my age, as everybody is in television now. Anyway, I come through the swingy doors, and I've got Clemmy, the cockapoo. I've got her, obviously she goes through the doors safely. And I skid on the tile, and I fall. And it's that moment where, and I could see they both looked over from their table and just went, oh, she's, you know, I looked at them, I was thinking, oh, this is mortifying. This is mortifying. Anyway, it was just a moment, and I got back up. As we know, ladies, with this show more than anything else, never mind our careers that we've had, it's all in the recovery. So I did ricochet back up. Clemmy was wonderful, and we just sort of got back on it. But yeah, no end of those pratfalls. I look forward to that too. I think the key message from this show today about regrets, when it comes to bricks and mortar, I think it's just a case of you've got to let it go. When it comes to
let it go,
you've got to let it go. You can't be a hostage to it.
No.
And the fewer the regrets, the better. And you know, it's looking forward the whole time, just looking forward. And you know, I've got the best view in the world on a Saturday morning when I talk to you girls.
Oh, you are such a schmoozer. And just before you go, can I ask you one very important question?
Go on.
When does a wine connoisseur turn into an alcoholic? At what point and how many bottles in the evening?
I think probably about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well said. Well said.
Yes.
Speak for a friend. Yes, speak for a friend. Love you, girls. Let's pop a cork next week. Same time, same place.
Yes,
You can be
love
sure
you.
of it.
Love you, darling.
Love you.
Bye.